Well, hey, Silver Cyclists. Hello, my friends, and welcome to 2020. Now, as I am recording this, it's actually entering the second week of February, so I'm obviously behind the times. And if you've been following the channel, you know that I'm way late in posting this video. I've had 2 months of illness. I've had the flu twice and a couple of colds. Just been fairly miserable. So finally back on the bike. Very happy about that. Had my first ride yesterday, albeit only 30 minutes, but wow, that felt good. And gonna get this recorded and back out there. I've been very pleased and happy to see there have been continued views, even though I haven't posted for almost 2 months now, which is pathetic. But off we go. So again, Happy New Year. And let's just talk a little bit today about the studio that I use here at the house and some of the gear choices I've made and the reasons I've made them. Quick and dirty, but should be interesting, I hope. And please like, subscribe, and share. Bye-bye. Out of the house, through the garage, you see the Zwift set up there on the Elite Drivo, and up the stairs. And I have to say that 30 years in the Navy certainly helped on 9 different ships, going up and down ladders, and into my dedicated studio space, which I am very fortunate to have. It's my wife's desk and her workstation. We got an HD TV there. You can see the lights for filming. My desk and my workstation at the far end. And here we go. That's it. I've got a 21-inch iMac, Epson 3800 that I use. Some comfy chairs for watching movies. And then you can see through there the other room. Useful. But better than that, within these custom cabinets, I've got a great spot where I have my large format paper stored, as well as peripherals and the things that you just need to have. So that's very handy. And back out here into the studio. Very, very fortunate to have this. And that does it. All right, my friends, we are down in the kitchen, the lane where the coffee lives. Going to take just a few moments here and talk about the camera gear. YouTube is a visual art. It is a content that is completely visually based, and therefore the camera gear that one chooses has somewhat of a bearing. And while it is certainly possible to do entire successful channels based on your smartphone, for example, or the most minimal gear, it does add something to have a greater capability. And almost everybody who gets involved in this, I've found so far, really becomes quite close to their camera gear, and it takes on a life of its own. I have here 2 Canon cameras as well as the GoPro, and I just want to talk about why I made these choices. I come from decades of use with Canon DSLRs, digital single lens reflex cameras. I started with a 10D, I went up to a 30D I think, and then onto the 5D series. I had a 1DX at one point. And I have made a conscious decision to go with the new mirrorless systems. So I have 2 here. In this case, which is rigged out, it's got this cage on it, as well as the Rode video mic handle. This is a EOS R. This is the full frame RF lens mount mirrorless camera that I think Canon is really banking the future on. And this camera has so far turned out to be more than I ever hoped for. It is hotly contested and somewhat controversial because it took on the Sony 7 Series dead front and center, and they really worked towards doing more with videography in this camera than, say, the 5D Mark IV, for example. This camera is extremely capable, full frame camera. Has the attribute of being able to use an adapter. I have it on here now, and I've fitted the 24-70 EF lens mount from my existing Canon lens stable to adapt to this, and that's working really, really well. The RF mount, this is an RF 35, this is an image stabilized 35mm lens. The RF mount is larger, beefier. I think this is the future, and obviously Canon has staked a lot of time, effort, and technological work on this. There are more electrical contact points within the RF mount. It's larger, and it is going to provide a roadmap into the future for a whole series of lenses which are starting to be rolled out now that are extraordinarily capable and somewhat smaller, more compact, and a little bit lighter than the existing lenses. However, that being said, the fact that you can use all these EF lenses on this RF mount via this adapter is tremendous utility. Similarly, for sort of run and gun vlogging, this is a Canon M50. It's an APS-C sensor, somewhat smaller sensor size, very capable though, and it is tremendous for vloggers. It may be the most widely used vlogging camera out there, I'm not sure, but it's light, it's small. The camera itself weighs less than this lens. I have fitted on here via a speed booster, a Viltrox speed booster, a 14mm, this is a venerable lens. This is a 14mm rectilinear L series EF lens, and it's a very heavy 14 elements, very heavy metal lens. It weighs more than the camera. Nonetheless, it balances extraordinarily well, and this gives you the ability to do vlogging in place or on the go in a very comfortable fashion, in a very comfortable package, as well as having a flip out screen. So you can center yourself, make sure that you're in focus, that you're in the scene, that you're capturing the elements you want to while you go. Now, the existing M series lenses are extraordinarily small and light. This is a 15 to 45, and it is really, it weighs nothing. It's featherweight. Very good lens, very capable lens, and a good ability to capture range, but it has a much smaller aperture because of the construction of this than this lens. By using the speed booster, you get actually increased amount of light into the lens, onto the sensor, and by means of that, this 14mm, which is natively an f2.8 lens, becomes an f2.0 lens. And that combination of going from an f2.0 into this very compact body, and there is such a wide angle in a rectilinear fashion, that is, it's not a fisheye. It really provides you a capability to do things that you couldn't do in any other way. And then a flip out screen is really useful for vloggers, as well as letting you see from different angles. So very, very happy with that. And then the GoPro. Seen this in the past on the bike, but the GoPro, this is a Hero 7 Black. I mean, it's just been around for a long time. I made a conscious decision to go with the Hero 7 Black versus the Hero 8, waiting to see how the Hero 8 was going to work out. It was extraordinarily new at the time that I made this purchase. And so I am very, very happy with this. It mounts everywhere. So cage mounts on the bike, and it can be mounted on the helmet, on a chest plate. It can be mounted on the windshield of your car, almost any place you could think of. So very, very useful for getting footage in a way that has such incredible depth of field that you're not likely to ever be out of focus. Really, really useful. You can do it in a linear fashion, and that's the way I set it up. I find the footage to be much more lifelike, not quite as extreme wide angle as you do under the wide setting for this. So that's it. This is kind of the stable of things I need, and it really covers just about everything else that I need to do. As well as both these cameras do tremendous job at still photography, and so for those people, I wished I'd had these when I was doing weddings, because they're just so much lighter and so capable. But that's where we are today. I'm filming this on my iPhone, and so that remains a very, very capable piece of kit, and it's always with you. So as they say, the best camera is the camera that you have with you, and the iPhone seems to always be there. At any rate, I look forward to talking in the next episode, and I hope this finds you well as we move through January, and spring's not that far off anymore. So let's have a good year in 2020. Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you around.